Hey, Julia Barzyk here from Wise Investigator. So today I wanted to talk a bit more about outreach and networking and really drive home the point that this should be something that a PI is doing consistently. And why is this? I think it comes down to the immense scale of the research enterprise supported by the federal government, or that is the federal government. There are so many thousands of employees, including scientists and engineers, working in all of these different mission-driven organizations. Now, all of them are not directly involved in the university research funding process, or if some of them may be involved in that a little bit, it's not their primary job duty. There's usually sub-organizations within those mission-driven organizations where the funding is the primary goal of that group. However, thinking back to the many years that I spent within the federal government as part of this research enterprise, I would have really never been able to meet and connect with, visit, have meetings with every scientist and engineer, even within the one agency that I was a part of. Because again, there's thousands of these people. So that was even with having the benefit of being on the inside and having a bit easier time tracking someone down or getting their email address. It really takes a long time to find out where things are happening, who's doing the work, and make those connections. That's just how it is. So for someone to go to a mission-driven organization and say, I have talked to somebody at this agency and they weren't interested in my research. Well, that only means that that one individual was not interested in your research at that point in time. But there are very many more scientists and engineers within that organization. Again, they may not be in a position to recommend your research for funding, but they could certainly write letters of support if you're applying to another agency. They may have access to funds at a later date. So getting to know these people within these organizations much more broadly can only be a positive for you in terms of helping to plan ahead, expanding your ideas for collaborations, and like I said, expanding what you're thinking about in terms of broader impacts and also perhaps in getting a letter of support. So my advice would be to think beyond the one funding organization within some of these mission-driven organizations and take the time to learn more broadly what's going on there, who's doing research related to what you're doing in terms of who the actual people are, and try to start making those connections.